Good day everyone, this is Junaid Khan and I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I was making video regarding TRVs, the temporary resident visas, but I feel like it is important to talk about the immigration pathways to Canada as well, in which you can actually fit yourself into a permanent residency pathways. That means once you proceed with your application, you will get a permanent residency at your doorstep. That means that you can get a permanent residency while living in your country, and once you land in Canada, you will getting your PR at the airport in most of the cases. So there are two major pathways which people always talk about. Number one is express entry and number two is PNP. So what does that mean? How these two categories are different from each other, and what are the important documentation one should need to focus on in this application? So we'll be talking about all that. In regards to the express entry application, so express entry is a federal program. That means if you get your immigration done and if you get your invitation from express entry pathway, you can enter Canada according to your location, according to where you want to land. So you can pick any province, you can pick any city, and you can enter Canada, and you will be getting your permanent residency right at the airport wherever you're landing from. Now, the provincial nominee programs, as I said, is provincial. That means you're applying for the specific provinces. So once you're applying for the specific provinces, what that means is you are basically trying to contribute for the economy of that province. So in that case, if your application is accepted in any PNP program, so you have to land in that province and you have to work in that province and you have to settle down in that province so that you can play an important role to boost up the economy of that specific area. So that the question might comes into the people's mind is like, can we actually travel outside that province? So that is not a problem. You can actually travel wherever you want to in Canada, within Canada, but you have to work and you have to settle yourself down in that province for an extended period of time, approximately a year or 2 years. Now, if we talk about the processing in regards to these applications, there are four major factors that one should look into while they're preparing yourself to apply in this immigration pathway. The first is age. Your age matters in these applications. There are certain criteria where your age will give you the full points in this criteria, and there are certain points and there are certain ages where your points differ and your point decreases according to what your age is today. So in express entry profile, definitely if you are between 20 to 30, that means you will be getting full score of your age, but as soon as you hit 30 and 30 plus, you will be losing 5 points in every birthday. In regards to the second factor is education. So education definitely will give you some points, and in regards to the education, if you have done bachelor's, there are certain points. If you have done master's, there are a couple of points above that, and you have done 2 degrees, different points, and then the PhD and the doctorate will give you the full points in this criteria. In regards to the education, a very common question asked by a lot of people, especially who are engaged in this immigration process, is like how to get the evaluation done, because this immigration pathway specifically asks for an evaluation, and that evaluation is not from your in-country body, but that evaluation is supposed to be done by some of the organizations appointed by Immigration Canada. One of them is WES, which is World Education Service. There's ICAS, there is University of Toronto, and there are multiple other organizations as well, which can basically evaluate your degree into Canadian credentials. So that is very important, and without that, you will not be able to gain any score into this profile. Moving forward to third point, which is the work experience. In most cases, you will need 3 years of work experience which you have been done after you're completing your education, and this experience is supposed to be in the same sector which you have done your education in. So if you have done MBBS, then you are supposed to have an experience in the medical field. If you have done marketing, then your experience is supposed to be in the marketing field. And similarly, if you're an engineer, then you have to be working in an engineering field. In regards to the working experience, there are some occupations which are highly in demand in Canada today. And in those sectors, you might have, if you have less experience than 3 years, they are useful as well. And you can actually put your application less than 3 years of experience as well. The fourth factor is the most important one. And this is going to be the English proficiency, which is IELTS, PTE, CALE, CELPIP. I mean, that's another question, like what are the bodies they're accepting? But like I said, the four names, the IELTS, PTE, CELPIP, CALE, these are the courses which are actually, you can enroll into it and you can get your English proficiency credentials done. But in regards to the English proficiency, why I said initially that this is going to be the most important one, because if you look into the previous three factors, the age, the education, the work experience, honestly speaking, what's done is done. You cannot mold your age, you cannot change your education readily, and you cannot even enhance your working experience as of today. So the only thing in your hands right now is the English proficiency. That means the higher the better is the criteria in this, but the eligibility criteria for the express entry profile is going to be 6 each. If you have got an 8, 7.5, 7, and if you got 1 5.5, in any module, you are not going to be eligible for express entry profile. But if you ask me what is the best score you can get to boost up your application, that is going to be 8 and 777, specifically 8 in listening, speaking, reading, writing, 7s. If you get this score, you can actually boost your application to the level where your chances of getting an invitation is going to be very high. So these are the four factors which are very important. Now, how this whole process works, I'm specifically talking about express entry, that once you have all these four factors ready, then you have to apply your application into the pool. So how pool work is that, you know, once you apply your application in the pool, and then in a month time, there are going to be multiple draws, express entry having a separate draw, and within express entry, they will have occupation in demand draw, healthcare draws, and multiple other draws, similarly like PNPs. But what's going to happen is the moment your points, your profile points are higher than the draw, that is the time when you're getting ITA, which is invitation to apply, or EOI, which is expression of interest, what you have applied in the PNP section. So at that point, you will get an invitation, and now you are eligible to apply for the permanent residency. And this is how this whole process works. It's a point-based process. The four factors are important, but most importantly is the English proficiency, which is currently in your hand. So make sure you prepare your best to do your English proficiency right, to do your IELTS right, or any other organization you want to pick to get your English done. And that's how you can put your application in. This is a huge topic. I cannot summarize it into one video, otherwise it's going to be an hour-long video. I will be making more videos on this topic, specifically for express entry, specifically for PNP, and there are multiple other programs going on in regards to immigration, including AIP, RNIP, and as well as the Atlantic programs. So we will be talking about in the further videos, and I will be specifically telling you that how you can consider yourself to be fit in one of these programs. Thank you very much.